and we will get started. So the first thing that I wanted to bring to your attention is the YouTube page. Some of y'all are well aware of this page and you already use it, but for those of you who aren't, I want to show it to you. So I already have it pulled up, and let me just share my page. So here is my YouTube page. This is what opens up in the home channel. It's called a channel. If you ever need to search for me on YouTube, you can type in Jennifer Crosby and I'm there. There are other Jennifer Crosbys, but to very easily find me, you can put in SOWEGA, this SOWEGA. It stands for Southwest Georgia. And then Jennifer Crosby, and it pops me up. Or Jennifer Crosby Tai Chi, that usually brings me up, in the top of the search. So I am easy to find because my page is my name. And when I created this page, I didn't know that. I didn't understand YouTube enough. I just knew it was me. So I inadvertently um, made it easy. So you see, you can be a subscriber to the page. And when you're a subscriber to the page, it will notify you when I get a new video up. Also, you see here, there are 227 videos. That's just pretty cool. That's exciting to me. Um, Now, this is the home page and it just kind of gives a overview of, here's my videos. I only have done one live stream and then I have playlists. Okay, so back to the top. If you click on this videos tab, then it's all the videos. And I have it set to have the video that I recorded most recently at the top, and then it goes, to the oldest at the very bottom. What my goal is to continue to add to my playlist. And so you see here, SOWEGA, January 21st, 2025, AM. That was my this morning's class. Over here, SOWEGA, January 17th, 2025, it says exploring. That's my advanced class that's on Friday. And then every time I record it and upload it and put SOWEGA, oh gosh, the date, and then whether it's the AM or PM class. Now, here is playlist, and this is what I really want. Obviously, I want you to know if you miss class, this is where you come and rewatch class or watch class. Or if you want to rewatch it, this is where you rewatch it. But what I really want to bring to your attention is this playlists. So if you click on the playlist, here are two different playlists. This one, Tai Chi, that's the one I want you to look at. Tai Chi, I can click on view full playlist. Now, when I go to this one, you see, here's the Tai Chi Basic 6. Here's the warm-ups, no talking. The warm-ups where I talk you through. Here's an 8-minute video just on commencement, just on that first move, that move we learned last week. Here's one warm-up or one video for each of our body parts, or not our body parts, our major joints. So you have a video that is dedicated to one move, and then you have videos dedicated to the whole set of movements. So this is a great place for you to come and, just freshen up on certain moves or to learn moves that you maybe want to go ahead. You want to practice the whole, see, basic 6. That's all of our moves in our basic 6. So right now, I am working on the Advanced 6. So I have a video for Advanced 6 where I talk you all the way through it. I have Advanced 6 done in mirror image where I just say the movements. I have Advanced 6 turned around with my back to you and I only say the names. I have Advanced 6 turned around talking you all the way through.
Waiting no container.
So if there is any way you want to learn the Advanced 6 and follow the Advanced 6, there are four different options right there. And then I have started with each movement. I've done brush knee, I've done play the lute, and I thought I did parry parry punch. I think it may be. Is it back? Well, where's parry punch? Parry. I know I did parry. I must not have put it on the playlist yet. All right. So this is how you navigate this page. I'll worry about that later. Whoops. View my channel. Do you anybody have any questions about this?
Hey, Jennifer, this is Iris Davis.
Okay.
I have, should we be visiting this site or is it optional?
It is
How many times we go there?
no, it's completely optional. This is simply there for you to practice or learn outside of class.
Okay.
I'm gonna close this out if y'all don't have any specific questions about how do I stop sharing? Oh gosh. Stop share. There it is. The thing about Tai Chi class, we come here to learn, right? And then the goal is that when we're not having class, you're practicing in some way, shape, or form. To get the full benefits of our Tai Chi, we want to do a little bit more than just 1 hour once a week. Now, I can't say for you how much time, but even if you did 10 minutes of something, whether it be 10 minutes of practicing your breath, 10 minutes exploring principles just with open and close. You can practice so many ways, and I try to give y'all all those tips during class. And I don't want to overwhelm you. I don't want you to think that every day you have to give an hour, but just a little bit of something that's going to help you be ready for the next class whenever we start to learn more. So that page is, you never have to go on it. But I just did that, actually started the YouTube page because my very first YouTube class, one of my ladies said, "Have you thought about recording these?" And I was like, no, I haven't. And so I figured out how to record it. And and at first I would just share the recording. And then I got the idea of uploading it to a YouTube page. So it was birthed from somebody who just wanted to be able to review what they learned in class. And so that just started a whole new thing. Now, if you ever have any ideas for me, I'm open to ideas. I'm open to any way that can help you learn Tai Chi or understand Tai Chi more. If there's ever any kind of topic within our, Tai Chi realm, just let me know. And I'm happy to do research and try to figure it out and help you learn or help you get better at something. So I'm here for you, y'all. I have done things like have one-on-one Zoom meetings on a Thursday afternoon because somebody wanted me to watch them to see how they were doing a move in a certain way. And so if my schedule allows, I'm happy to do that. So all that said, I'm here for you, right? And the YouTube page is there for you as well. So with that said, I did want to go over that YouTube page, just so you kind of had an idea of how it's set up and what all was there for you to, you know, to use. Just know that you're not going to break anything. So I know some people get a little bit scared of computers and they're afraid if they touch something that they're going to mess it up. And so if all else fails, just X out of it. Just close all the way out of it. You know, if you get somewhere in YouTube and you go, I don't even know how to get back to from where I came from, just exit out, close it out, and start all the way over. I've done that before, and I'm a little knowledgeable at computers, but still sometimes I think I am in deeper than I want to be. So let's go ahead. Let's get started with our movement. I am just warming up my body. I am opening and closing my hands. I have on layers and sweatpants, and it's not going to take a lot for me to get warmed up. This morning in class, I was all but sweating. I was so warm, but it's so cold outside. So I'm dressed for outside, not inside. Let's start with our warm-up moves, starting with our neck. So we're in a stable stance where we have good posture. Our feet are about shoulder or hip width apart, and my knees have a slight bend. So I'm making sure I'm not holding any tension in my shoulders. I'm breathing. Take a few deep breaths in and exhale out. Just take a few breaths, inhales and exhales at your own pace. Reminding ourselves that we don't want to hold our breath while we're doing our exercises. We want to continue to breathe. So let's start with our neck, bringing our hands up, palms down, towards our chin and chest. Turn and push away from our bodies and follow those hands all the way down, chin to chest. Come back up towards our chin and chest, turn and push away, and follow those hands all the way down, chin to chest. Feel yourself relaxing, your nervous system relaxing, your heart rate coming down as it's time to slow down. Taking all of our worries and our to-do list and sending them on their way for this 1 hour. Our other neck exercise starts out the same way. Let one hand rest beside your hip while the other we follow as we look towards that shoulder, back to the front, and switch. Going side to side. The more you do these warm-up stretches, the more mobile your neck will be. You'll reduce tension, reduce stiffness that you may have. And that's why it's good to do that, those warm-up movements every day. Even if you don't spend but 10 or 15 minutes just stretching those major joints of your body, it can help relieve pain. Now let's roll our shoulders forward. We always roll forward first. Little circles on the sides of our legs. And then roll our shoulders back. Kind of feels like a massage you give yourself. Nora, is your mother-in-law with you today?
No, not today.
Okay. I just wanted to double check because I wanted to put her on the row on attendance if she was
Yeah,
here.
she's absent today.
Okay. Rolling those shoulders. Now, big shoulder circle. A great one for practicing breath. I like to do this one seated. So I don't have to worry about balance. I can close my eyes and just breathe as I bring my hands up and push my hands down. You can start thinking of words that encourage you. Whatever you're inhaling calm, exhaling stress, or worry. Inhaling good, exhaling bad, so use words as you inhale and exhale. Now for our spine. So we have our ball here. We're going to separate and push up and down, keeping that soft bend in our elbows. Come back to the ball and switch. I like to inhale as I come to my ball and exhale as I separate. Let's take our ball side to side. Come just above one knee, switch, and come all the way above that other knee. Now we're ready for our lower body. Remember, this is when it gets a little complicated for us as we shift weight to one leg. And so have something stable nearby, whether it be a wall, a table, or a chair, something that you can rely on if you do lose your balance, or if you don't feel safe enough to do this without holding on, skip the upper body part and just do the weight shifting. The first one for our hips, we shift our weight to one leg, place the heel forward and the hands back. So there's a counterbalance there. Our toe goes back and out like a kickstand. To center, shift weight. Now let's take the other foot out, hands back. So on that playlist on the YouTube page, there's a whole video just on hip warm-ups. But even if you don't want to do them, you can just watch them because you can learn just by watching. Don't forget to check your posture. Make sure you aren't leaning with any of these movements. Shifting weight side to side. So we take our hand, pushing in the direction of the weight shift, stopping at our frame and tapping out. Now for our knees, we have our loose fist down here by our hips. Shift to one leg, lift, tap and punch. Bring it back, shift, lift, tap and punch. Check in, make sure you're breathing. As you shift weight to that leg, make sure that weight is right over top of that knee. You don't want to put any unnecessary pressure on your joint. So if you have the weight directly centered over, it has less stress on the joint. Step forward. Shift weight, place the foot out forward, and then shift a little to that front foot and back. Key here is to keep the back leg on the floor, right? So if I were to take that heel on the back foot up off the floor, I wouldn't be grounded in the movement. I would start, projecting forward. I want to still keep that upright posture, even though I'm shifting weight to a front foot. And so to me, that's a challenge. I always want to kind of lean and go with the weight shift, but in Tai Chi, we always keep that upright posture. That's one of our principles of our body structure. Remember, when we place our foot, it's empty. Then we give it weight. Bring it back. Place the foot empty. Then shift the weight. So take your time. Nothing in Tai Chi asks us to be in a hurry. So take your time as you are placing that empty step before the weight transfer. Lastly, our ankles. So we have some weight transfer here. Shift weight to one leg, and then the other foot goes heel, toe, heel, toe. Bring the foot back, shift weight, and heel, toe. Weight back, shift weight, and big toe, little toe. So we're going side to side. Probably feel the joint, the ligaments, muscles that surround that joint, those really stretching, which is good for mobility. Stretching helps keep us from being stiff and tense. So the more time we can spend stretching, the better. All right, shake it off, and we are ready to go. Building on, well, we're going to review first what we learned last week.
I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
When you are doing the, I think it's for the spine, and you have the ball and you twist to the right and the left,
Uh-huh.
is your head going with the twist, or is your head straight forward?
Okay, so my head isn't turning. It may look like it. It's because my torso is turning and my head is attached to my torso. So forget my hands. I'm going to go from side to side, just my torso. So I'm turning here, turning. So I'm not going like this, right? Because we already did that one when we did our neck exercise, where we did
Right.
that one. So we don't need to stretch our neck, but it does look like my head is turning, but it's only because it's attached to my torso. So when my torso turns, my head goes with it. So I'm not keeping my head looking at you and turning. That's really hard to do. Here. That felt really weird.
Oh, I remember taking a class and they said, keep your head forward.
Uh-huh. So
So I was just wondering.
technically, your head is forward. Technically, your head isn't moving, but because it's attached to your body, it is moving.
That's it's a natural movement.
So
Okay.
my head is not moving at all. If I were moving my head, it would look like this. And I'd probably get dizzy and throw up. And if I were trying to stay my head forward, why is that so hard? There. So, do you see the differences in all those moves?
Uh-huh. Yes, yes.
So I see what you mean. It seems like my head is moving, but it's just attached to my body. So it's that movement is strictly for our spine. So you were right when you said you think it's for our spine. And the same thing with my hands, I talked about that last week, but I don't think I did talk about my head. But when our hands are holding this ball, if I were to move my hands, you see my body is still. Well, this isn't doing a darn thing for my spine. That's only doing something for my shoulders.
Okay.
But I place my hands and I move my body, my torso, and my hands go along for the ride. So just like my head goes along for the ride, my ball is going along for the ride too. So I'm not moving my hands. My hands are just moving because my body's moving.
Okay.
That is probably confusing whenever you watch it. Like, wait a minute, what exactly is moving? Because my hands appear to be moving, but really it's just my torso moving, and anything connected to it, that top part is just going with. I can isolate my hips, and my hips aren't going anywhere. My hips stay still as if they weren't. They're not attached because it's a stretch for my spine. All right, reviewing what we learned last week. So we are sitting at commencement and open and close. Those are our first two movements of our basic 6 for these. We have 6 basic movements. We have 6 advanced movements. So we have learned commencement, and commencement is the only movement that we don't do 2 different ways. Commencement's done one time and it's done this way. The rest of our movements go to the right and then go to the right and then go to the left. And so this one is isolated. It's the very first movement. It is a step forward. So what are our feet doing? We shift weight to our right foot. We place our left foot out. Remember the empty step. We shift to that left foot and then we bring the right foot forward. That's what's going on with our feet. What's going on with our hands in commencement? Our hands start to our sides, and the whole time they face each other as we bring our hands up and they're out and away from our bodies. Now we have a soft bend in our elbows. We're not locked joints ever. So we have that soft bend in our elbows. As we come out or up, it's out and up. And then we go down, and about when we get to our hips, we pull those hands into our hips. Then we come up our body like an elevator. Then we push away from our body, still not going Frankenstein, and then we bring them back in. And when we end, our fingers are pointing up for open and close. So again, our hands go up, down, in, up, out, and back in. Fingers pointed up. So the whole time our hands are facing each other. Now you may notice a little movement in my wrist. You don't have to do that. I try not to do that in the beginning, but if you ever see me doing it, that's one of those things that you might not do in the beginning, but later you add it in. And why not give a little extra movement to our wrist? And the way you incorporate your wrist, if you want to go ahead and do that, is when you come up, see my fingers, they're more pointed down. And then when I come down, my fingers are more pointed up. You see, it's like a little flick of the wrist. And so our wrists are joints. You may have arthritis in the wrist joint. And so by exercising our joints, we can help with our arthritis. So why not add a little bit for our wrist's sake? But you don't have to. You can keep your hands, fairly straight. It's not a big deal. But when you end, you do end with your fingers pointed up because the second move is open and close. All right, so putting the hand and feet together as a review, we come up, nothing's happening with our feet. It's when we come down that we shift our weight to our right leg. When we get to our hips, or when we get down, before we bring our hands to our hips, we place that left foot forward. And so I want you to feel the connection between the direction of your hands and the weight shift to that right leg. Okay? So we bring those hands up, down, shift right. So it's almost like our hands have some kind of superpower that's pulling that weight down to that right leg as they come down. So hands up, down, shift right. Place that left foot. So when we place that left foot, no weight gets on that left foot. That's an empty step. We're going to do the rest of that hand move, bringing it. We're going to bring it in and up before we shift the weight to that left foot. When we are ready to shift the weight to that left foot, our hands go out. So shift left, hands go out. So you see there's the power in those hands again. The first time when our hands went down, the weight went down to this right leg. This time our hands extend out and the weight extends forward to that left foot. So see that connection. From the beginning, commence up, down, shift right. Place that left foot, hands come in and up. Ready to shift weight again. Shift left as those hands go out. Right foot forward. And now bring these hands back. When I'm bringing my hands back, at that moment is when I adjust weight to these legs. So bringing those hands back, I go from having the weight, on the left foot, I brought my right foot forward. So now I give the weight to the right foot. Sorry, I had to do it to know what I was doing. So again, commence. Hands up, down, shift right, step left or place left. Hands come in and up. Shift left as those hands go out. Right foot forward, hands come back. Weights adjusted. Now I'm ready for open and close. So that's what we learned last week. The first two moves, commencement, open, close. One more time, no talking, and commence. That bringing those hands down, that's called closing it out. That means I'm done for a minute. I'm done until I start again. Okay, here we go. Another time, no talking, and commence. Open, close. How do y'all feel about those first two moves? Y'all feel good about them?
Yes, ma'am.
And no questions.
I got a question.
Okay, go ahead.
Stepping too wide. When you say put your foot out, I
Uh-huh.
think I think I'm making too long a step. Is
Well,
it a half step or is it a long step?
it's a very short step. Anything that we do in Tai Chi is small. And so we're going to talk about that today with our steps of waving hands and clouds. So we are accustomed to doing everything big. And so we have to kind of unlearn that for Tai Chi class. You know, we think, oh, I'm gonna do it extra, so I'm gonna really step out. And then, you get yourself in a bind because your feet are so far apart. So I wish my pants weren't so baggy, but maybe you can see it. Okay, so I'm gonna do it from the side, commencement. So my hands come up, down, shift right. Okay, here's my step. Step, bring it in and up, shift. So when I stepped, hold on, let me do it again, and the way you see my feet.
Yes.
All right, so the heel of this left foot is almost lined up with the toe of the right foot. So it is a very small step. And when I say place it, I'm trying to use that word place instead of step, because when we say place, then I just place it out there. When I say step, there's more of a tendency to want to put weight to it. And so this is new for me in using that word, but placing that foot out there gives you that pause for the empty step, then the weight shift, and then bring the other foot forward. But try to keep it small and not make these big steps. And it's just something we have to unlearn because we're so used to doing everything bigger and more. All right.
Okay, I have a question too.
Okay.
When you do the commencement
Uh-huh.
and you go up the U,
Mhm.
your arm is extended, right?
Yeah,
It's out.
it,
When you come down and you're gonna shift right, where does your hand come down out or is it close to your body when you come down?
it's still out. So
It's still
here's
out.
here's the side view again. I come up,
Uh-huh.
hands are extended. I come
So
down,
it's still out.
and
Okay.
then I pull them in.
Bring it in. Okay.
So it's easy to kind of split the difference between those moves. And so that's why I say come down and then
And then bring it
in.
in. Okay.
Because if we don't talk about that, then it's easy to go up and then instead of down and in, to go at an angle.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
easy to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't have really, really long arms, so we're not talking about a whole lot of space there. So yeah, down, still extended, and then in, up, out. So there is an actual U. So out, down, in, U. So there's a little bit of a curve to it, thinking in terms of a U versus corners. Because why? In Tai Chi, we're smooth. We don't have a corner. But when we teach it, we teach corners. We teach the chopped version to make it easy to learn. So we do more chopping. Bump, 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 bump. Instead of the flow of that U. See, it's the same, but the first is like learning to read the word dog and saying d, ah, g. and then just gradually sounding it out until you just know it's dog. So we're choppy at first, and then our goal is smooth and continuous. So you see how that's the same but different?
Yeah.
Slow, smooth. It's that kind of wearing off the corners of that down, in, and up. We gradually make it more smooth with practice. Okay, what other questions? All right, our next move after open and close is our very first single whip. And so we do single whips, we do one single whip to the right, and then we do a single whip to the left. We don't do them in order, but we go to the right first. We have waving hands and clouds in between. So single whip looks like this. We're coming from open and close, so our hands here. We're coming from open and close, so our feet, both of our feet have weight. So here's open and close to the, here's single whip to the right. And that is the chopped version. But what we're doing is shifting weight to our left foot, stepping out to our right. Now, I say step out with my right, and you see it's very, very small. It's a very small step, and it's at an angle. Just say about 45 degrees. It doesn't have to be exact. But when we step at an angle, so we're not stepping out and forward, we're stepping out but at an angle. So you find that, find that place where you feel stable. It may be over here a little bit. It may be up here. But it's step out and at an angle. Just like in all of our other instances, we place that foot, then we adjust weight. When we step at an angle, it naturally turns our body at that angle. So I go from facing forward to shift left, step right. And you see my body moved with that step. Now my hands are ready to do so. Oh, I adjust the weight. Now there's weight on both feet. Push my hands out, turn my palms away from us or from you, and then separate those hands. My eyes follow my left hand. In single whip, your eyes follow the hand opposite of the foot that stepped out. So if it's my right foot that steps out, my head and eyes follow my left hand. And when it's my left foot that steps out, my head and eyes follow my right hand. So that is the rule of a single whip. Your eyes are following, in this instance, your left hand. Don't forget your right. Don't leave it out in the front while you move that one. Don't let it be out of sight, out of mind. Take both hands and separate. When you do both hands, you're going to feel a stretch in your chest. You probably feel a stretch in your neck, probably in your upper back. When you do the full movement of that whip. So don't forget that hand that you're not looking at. Make it up. Both hands go out. But your eyes are following the hand opposite that you stepped out with. So this is single whip to the right. Coming from open and close, shift left, step out right, adjust weight. Push, turn, separate. Eyes follow that left hand. But see, the right hand still went out too. That's single whip. All right, let's do it again. Let's go from open and close. single whip, shift, step, adjust, push, turn, separate, eyes follow the left hand. All right. Questions about that move? So we do the single whip to the right first, and we do it to the left. Of course, we have waving hands and clouds in the middle, but I want you to go ahead and experience single whip to the left. So you'll still be coming from an open and close. You're going to shift right, step out left, adjust weight, push, turn, separate, eyes follow your right hand. So practice that going both ways. So again, for the one to the left, coming from open and close, we shift right, step out left, adjust weight, push, turn, separate, eyes follow the right hand. But
when you separate, your weight is on both legs?
That's correct. So before you even separate, let's see, open, close, shift, done. So before you even push those hands out there and turn them or separate, you have adjusted weight to where there's weight on both legs. So for a moment, you shift. Okay, for a moment, you place that foot out there. It doesn't get immediate weight. Then you give it weight. Now it's time for our hands to do its thing. So we get our feet situated, then our hands do their thing. So it is the first one goes to the right, where we shift left, step right, adjust weight, push, turn, separate, eyes follow our left hand. And so when I said adjust weight, what I mean by that is give weight to that foot you just stepped out with. Now you have weight on both feet. And that's called a staggered stance. And it is a very stable stance to have one foot out and the other foot back, weight on both feet. You have a little soft bend in your knees. This right here is a very stable stance called staggered stance. If you are ever somewhere where you have to stand, like in line, or you have to stand for a while, maybe you're fearful that somebody's going to knock into you. Get in that staggered stance. And in this, a staggered stance doesn't have to have that foot at an angle. A staggered stance can have your feet in different placements, but a staggered stance means one foot is further up than the other. However you decide to angle your feet. So right now, my front foot is pointing forward, and my back foot is the one at an angle. So that's a staggered stance. A slight bend in my knees, and you're less likely to knock me over if you hit into me, because you push me and I can bend into this leg a little bit and absorb that impact. You push me this way and I can bend this back leg a little bit and absorb that impact. So staggered stance is a very stable stance. Stand this way for a little bit and then switch and have the other foot forward. So you're widening, like, when we talk about a stable stance where we have our feet about shoulder width or hip width, that is a stable stance. But when we go staggered, it bumps it up and even makes it even more stable.
When I do the wave and the cloud on the staggered stance, I find that my heel is coming up off the floor, the back foot. Is that a big deal?
Well, when your foot comes off of the floor, generally you're not grounded. And so when you're not grounded, you're more likely to fall. And so if you can keep your feet grounded on the floor when you move, then that will be better. Now, waving hands and clouds, you're going to the side. So waving hands in clouds is the move after single whip.
Open and close.
When we,
After open and close, right?
Open and close goes open, close, single whip, boom, boom. Now we're ready for waving hands in clouds. So I'm going to bring this right foot back and then step out. And so that starts the waving hands in clouds. So when I wave hands in clouds, I'm doing what's called Tai Chi walking first to the right. So
I got mixed up. I didn't mean waving hands in cloud. I was talking about the one you taught today when we have the staggered stance.
Single whip.
Single whip. That's the one when my heel keeps coming up a little bit.
Okay. So keep your step a little bit closer and bend those knees, and you'll be grounded in that stance. So if you step too far, it may be pulling that back heel up. So go for a smaller step.
Okay.
And see if that helps.
All right.
So when we are doing the balance the weight, are we supposed to hold our abdominal muscles in, or it doesn't matter? Are you?
That
sure
is a very good question. I feel like I'm always engaging my core. And so you talk about holding your abdominal muscles. So whenever I'm upright and holding my body upright, I have the muscles in my stomach and even in my back, my lower back right here. My muscles are just engaged, but especially my stomach. I kind of have that muscle tightened, and whenever I move my torso, I'm pushing with my stomach muscles. I pretend there is a straw that's pointing out of my belly button, and I'm pushing that straw in the different directions. So I don't even think I've talked about that in this class, but it's so interesting that you asked that, because engaging your core, using those muscles, helps strengthen those muscles. And when the muscles that surround your core, which is here, this part of your body, back and front, that helps support your spine. And so when you have when you have strong muscles, you can have better posture. And so you're less likely to fall whenever you have a strong core. And we practice that by holding in those muscles, no matter what we're doing. A good time to practice engaging core is that torso movement that we reviewed earlier, where we went side to side. And we're fixing to next week do waving hands in clouds, but it comes here from our spinal warm-up. Waving hands in clouds looks like this. So you see how similar that is to our spinal warm-up. But when we do the spinal movement, the moving of our torso, tightening those muscles, having that straw, pushing that straw to that corner and pushing that straw to that corner, like visualizing that helps you engage those muscles. So we'll talk more about engaging muscles, but anytime you can engage your muscles, you're better for it. So tightening those stomach muscles as you move. Sometimes it lends you to holding your breath, so make sure you're continuing to breathe even though your muscles are engaged.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, let's cool down by giving ourselves a little fist massage. We'll continue to learn. Remember, those playlist tutorials are there for you to practice and review. This video will go up after class. As soon as it's uploaded, it'll be there for you. So we give ourselves this fist massage to help break up lactic acid. Lactic acid makes us sore. And so using those muscles, sometimes we get sore. Now let's gather tension and then let it go. Gather and release. See, we want to start to have more body awareness and recognize tension when we're holding it so that we can let it go and not hold on to tension, because tension can cause us pain. All right, big shoulder circle. Push down. Up and down. Great one to practice breath. Inhale and exhale. One more. And we have our right fist that represents strength. Our left fingers together representing our friendship. Our thumb in is our humility. So we put those together, and in mutual respect, we say namaste.
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 So there you go, girls. We have completed our third class. This is our third class? Oh, wow. Time flies. All right. Well, y'all stay warm and safe, and I will see y'all next Tuesday.
One of our students is trying to call me, Miss Hunter.
Uh-huh.
I don't know what happened, but I'm going to call her when I get off. She just called me, so she may not have been on.
Yeah, I didn't see
Irene Hunter.
Yes, ma'am. I didn't see her try to come in.
She did.
I'll be here at the office until 3, and then I'm gonna go home and work the rest of the day at home. So
Okay.
if y'all need me, email me or call me, and then I'll call you back. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Love y'all.
Love you.
All right. Bye-bye.